The house is quiet right now, and so I decided to go ahead and do some things that I can't really do while I have kids and husbands coming in and out of the kitchen. A lot of people have asked me, what do you do at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season when you just have those little stragglers that come through, like one eggplant or a couple strawberries or a tomato, one tomato, and you don't want them to go to waste, and maybe you have too many to eat but not enough to put up in a canning session or a freezer session. Well, what I do, I don't like to waste any of my stuff, and so thankfully I have an Excalibur dehydrator that my sister got me. It is down over there, and I will give you when we get over there, I'll read off what it is. It's a 9-tray Excalibur, and it is amazing. And I would say if you're going to spend the money to get an Excalibur, then get a larger tray Excalibur, because you will use it. Trust me on this, you will use it, especially if you have children. So once you start exploring the possibilities of what you can do with the Excalibur, with dehydrating, you will be dehydrating like a mad person. So what I do is I take the one zucchini or the one yellow squash or the whatever, and I cut them up into chunks. And I guess it just all depends on what you're going to use it for. So if I'm going to, say I'm going to use this to season soups with or something, I might want bigger chunks. Or if I'm going to put it in salads, well, I don't really put it in salads because once it's dehydrated, you have to rehydrate it somehow. But if you're going to make it a casserole with it or something like that, you might want it in little tiny chunks, like if your kids don't like zucchini, which mine do. But if they don't, then you can do that. My kids are adults now, though. They didn't like it when they were little. So anyway, so I chunk it up like that, and then I take it and I put it on my Excalibur screen. Here's a screen. It looks just like this. And I just take it all, and I don't really make any sense out of it. I just put it on there. Sometimes I salt it a little bit, depending on what I'm planning to use for it, like if it's for soups or something. Sometimes I'll salt it, or if I'm gonna just eat it. I mean, dehydrated vegetables are really delicious, and you really grow to like them the more that you eat them. So I just put them on a screen like that, and then I bring them over to, I will bring you with me, to my dehydrator. Let's see, where can I put you? Right there. Will that work? And this is an Excalibur food dehydrator, it says. It has dials at the top that you can dial in your temperature and then your hours. It's pretty simple, really. It's got a non-locking case that just lays over the top of it. And then it's got the 9 trays. And since I'm only doing this one tray, I can just put it in anywhere. You can take the other trays out if you want to, but I don't personally. I just leave them in. Then I also purchased these. These are if you're going, you have extra apples, you want to make some apple leather or apple roll-up, fruit roll-ups, what you might call a fruit roll-up. You're going to need something that the product doesn't go down into the little holes on your screen. So these were kind of costly. It seems like they were kind of spendy, but I just bought them anyways because I have a granddaughter who loves fruit rolls or fruit leather, and it's my way of doing stuff without sugar. So that is, I just leave those in there too most of the time. I think some people would say take them out, but I don't. And then I just put the lid on it and turn it on to the vegetable. It'll say vegetable timer, and then I usually put it about 4 hours. You can always just check it and see if it is dry, and then I take it over to my food saver, and this is just a basic food saver. There are a lot better ones. And then I use the bags for it. I put them in the bags, put it in here, push the button, it sucks the air out and seals it. I think this My mom gave this one to me, but I think she said she paid like 29 or 30 bucks for it. Well worth it, because then you get these really cool baggies, whoops, excuse me, in your pantry that have just little bits of like your one, that's like one zucchini, and then I'm going to put this zucchini in it, so I'll just cut the top off of that, put that zucchini in it, and reseal it so I don't waste anything. I don't waste that half a zucchini or whatever that somebody didn't eat. Here's another one. This one's yellow squash, so I can use that for soups or stews or casseroles or whatever. And yeah, so you can use one. So what I got here, you can use one tomato. Take your tomato and just cut it up. I'm going to slice this one, and because I'm just going to eat it dried, so just slice it up. And then see, because this one isn't going to last long enough for me to eat. I'm not going to be here, or whatever reason, you know, not going to be here, you don't have any use for it, then I'm just going to take all of those like that. I'm going to put them back in here for now. I have also one green bean here. One green bean. What are you going to do with one green bean? That's all there is, but I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to dry it, dehydrate it. I've got like 6 or 7 strawberries here that didn't get eaten, and they probably aren't going to, so I'm going to cut those up. And dried dehydrated strawberries are the best. They're a great snack for the kids. They are super highly nutritional for them, and they love them. So, you know, I've got my eggplant plant is producing eggplants, but I only have one plant, and I'm the only one who really likes it. But I did manage to make some eggplant parmesan the other day, and I had too many of these. I was slicing them lengthwise and making them like pickles, and they made the best eggplant parmesan. It was delicious. So, but I had 2 left over. So what I'm going to do with them, they're starting to already get shriveled. That's okay. I'm going to cut the ends off of them like that. This end, just a tiny bit of it. And then I'm going to cut it in slices. You can also cut it in chunks, but I'll probably eat these dried or use them for soups, you know. And you can put them in there and they add bulk to your soups. This is another good thing for using your dehydrator for, is that you can buy bulk at the store, buy produce that you go, or like say there's a big sale on mangoes. Well, I buy bags of fruit for my smoothies, and they're quite expensive considering that you can buy, you know, mangoes pretty cheap. So I buy mangoes when they're on sale. I let them ripen till they're just right. These are not going to go in today. So you can either dehydrate them and use them for your smoothies, or you can chop them up and throw them in the freezer. Like I always put them on a pan first and freeze them individually so they don't stick into one big bulk, because I only use a few pieces, you know, like a half a cup at a time. So that's another thing that I do. I'll do that with strawberries. Sometimes I'll take them all. I will use my food saver and save them in the food saver and throw them in the freezer all together like a mixed fruit. You could do mixed fruit and vegetable in those bags as well. Some people I hear, I haven't done this because I've always had fresh spinach, but if you don't have fresh spinach, you can take your spinach that you get at the store, say it starts going kind of bad, and you can put it in baggies and throw it in the refrigerator, and you end up with, it doesn't matter what it looks like when it comes out, because you're not making a salad with it. You're putting it in your smoothies like this, and so it's going to get chewed up anyways. This one here is a, let's see, let me just tell you what it's got in it. It's got cherries, sweet cherries, they're frozen. It's got a half a banana that was almost rotten. I love the sweetness of the banana, but that's a lot of calories, so I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. So I cut down the banana in half. I put, from my garden, I put romaine lettuce, I put the red lettuce, I put Swiss chard and kale. All four of those, about a giant handful in there of that. I put a scoop of vanilla protein, some vanilla, some actual vanilla, cashew milk, because that's what I had on hand. Usually I like to use the coconut milk. I really like that better. You can use almond milk. I don't recommend dairy, but you can use dairy if you like. Just you have to drink it all like within a few hours, or keep it in the fridge. Probably in an hour. I would say within an hour if you're, anyways. I just don't recommend milk personally, but you can even use water. And then I also used L-carnitine, some super green powder. I get the super green, the Garden of Eden super greens at the natural grocers, and I put a scoop in there. I have about a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. I don't always put that in there, but I change it every day, and I think it's really important that you change your green smoothie every day. But you know, I have found that because of what the plants create within their stem system, their leaf systems, that keep them from scorching in the sun and keep them from being eaten by predators, pests, and all that, that transfers to people. When you eat a plant, you get all that goodness that keeps you from scorching in the sun. I am in the sun all day, every day. I never burn as long as I'm eating greens. And it's got to be leafy greens. For some reason, can't be just vegetables. When I was I was doing a vegetable cleanse, I have to say this too. When a sign of aging is starting to get moles and those skin tags and stuff that you get on your necks, your underarms, and stuff like that. If you start a green diet, a very green diet, you'll see all those moles disappear and fall off of you. I mean, it is amazing. And it's showing you that you are not getting the nutrients daily that you need. So green leafy vegetables, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, romaine, other lettuces, dark purples, cabbages, all of that protects you against the elements and against pests, and not only external pests, but internal pests. So I don't know how I got off on this. Anyways, I just think that the smoothies, you can put any of this stuff into your smoothies. I go with what I like, because you're not going to drink something you don't love. So go with what you love. Keep the sugar out of it. Keep the dairy out of it, I think. And then you can dehydrate any of this and throw it into your smoothies later if you want to. And it's really good for that too. So there's a lot of ways that you can put up your single vegetables that you don't know what to do with. You know, don't waste them, or don't feel like you have to eat them right there off the vine because that's because that's the only one, or whatever. Whoops. So I just do this. I'll have a day where, and I'll do this like every few days, where I'll take vegetables that are in my refrigerator, like these. I didn't grow leeks this year, but I bought some leeks. They're always in these giant packs, and I used it for a soup that I made, and then I have all this extra. Don't let these go to waste. There is a lot of good stuff right there. So chop them up, get them out onto your chopping board. It only takes a few minutes. I'm talking, so of course it's slower process, but get it out there and cut it up and put it on your dehydrating screen and use it. So there you go. That's my tip for straggler produce.